I'm getting ready to put on these window frames and the port lights, and I have to trim around the outsides of these because I fiberglassed right up to them, actually overlapped. And so I'm going to use my Dremel tool. My round carbide bit, and real thin. So I'm going to cut around this and remove the fiberglass and gel coat here, and I'll have to clean this good. Originally, these were designed to screw on. There's a bronze flange that comes all the way through the boat. That's part of the window. And traditionally, you put them on and then you screw them on. But when I took them off, they had glued behind here, so I had to use a crowbar and pop them off. And then I got them all bent up, so I had to flatten them back down. So now I got to grind them out. I'm going to use my Dremel tool with this bit here, and I'm going to grind around in here to make this a little bigger. This is threaded and this is threaded, so this just is going to fit around it. These don't leak. I fiberglassed 2 layers of 1.5 ounce chopped strand mat all the way up against this, and I made sure I covered it really good. I filled everything in, and so these aren't going to leak, and I'm not worried about them popping out because I've got so much fiberglass around them, and they're in there tight as hell anyway originally. Plus they got screws on the backside of the flange on the inside, so there's no way a wave's going to take this out. So I'm just going to use it as basically just for looks, and it's not really going to do much other than that. But they're the original parts, so I want everything that's original pretty much back on the boat. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I got 2 more to go, 7 and 8. So this one, and that one's a little easier. I don't have to grind inside because it's square. So I just got to do these 2. So that's what I'm going to do now. First thing I'm going to do is take my sleeve up. So the reason I'm doing this is because whenever I run this Dremel tool with this flat cutter on it, all the dust goes right up in my sleeve, and then my arm itches. Okay, this bit's pretty wore down, but I'm going to give it a try. And I got other ones. I got new ones if I need them. So what I like to do is vacuum the dust as I go. So if I get this just situated just right, I can usually catch a lot of it. I don't have to explain what this is, I'm sure, but this is just to kind of keep any dust out of my face. Hopefully there won't be much, if any. And you want to wear eye protection. Okay, now I'll see how much of this I can pull off. It may look like I did a kind of a sloppy job here, but it doesn't matter because this is going to be all covered up with that frame. I may have to use my belt sander around here to bring this down. Looks like it's something I have to do. So I might as well just do that now. Okay, I'm going to use my small belt sander. Little skinny thing here, and I'm going to go around right down in here And I'm gonna have to go around this outer edge. I wanna make sure this fits flat. I'm going to go ahead and start grinding this to make this fit around. If it looks good, once I get to that point, then I'm going to use butyl tape. And I'm going to put butyl tape around the outer edge, or the back side here. And then it'll just go right on, and then I drill holes, 4 holes, and screw them in. And that's all there is to it. So, you know, this is kind of an oddball thing. I mean, this isn't something most boats are going to be doing like I'm doing here, but it's just, this is the way I had to do it. I had no choice. So I'm not doing the drill and fill trick where you drill a hole, fill it with epoxy, and then drill another hole through the epoxy. The butyl tape really works really well, and these were on here before without that stuff. There was some kind of sealant behind her, but this boat was built in 1975, and in all this area was the wood stayed dry. I mean, there was no soft areas, so I think we're going to be all right. I just got to grind this out now. I grind around both this flange here, and I grind around here to remove some of the resin that's still stuck and just kind of clean it up. And again, it doesn't matter if I cosmetically damage this, because as long as it's underneath this, it'll be hidden, so it won't matter. Plus I'm going to have a lot of butyl tape on there. So I'm going to use this little round grinder bit. I put bits into this Dremel tool. I just tighten them with my fingers. They have a wrench, but I find I really don't need to tighten them that tight. I can tighten them just tight enough I can get them loose. And also, don't put them all the way in, because sometimes they get stuck and they don't want to come out, and you have to really pull on it. So I leave them out a little bit so you can push it in and then pull it out. So I just go around and around until it fits on there. Okay, I'm going to see if it fits. I'm sure it don't. It's probably still got quite a ways to go. Yep, got a long ways to go still. Still got to clean some resin and blue tape up here. Okay. Pretty close. That's good. Unfortunately, I don't know why. It's like this flange didn't stick out as much. Probably didn't originally. But that feels good right there. I think I about got it. Now I can go ahead and I'm going to probably go around a couple more times. So now I just put butyl tape on here and screw it in. So this one's pretty much done. And I think I'm going to go around a few more times, just because as the sun's starting to go down, it gets cooler out here. This metal will shrink, and then it's hard to put on. So I'm going to go around a few more times here. Good. Okay, just like that. Now I need to clean this out, outer edge here. And let's see, I had a razor blade. That's what I need really to use. Maybe I can just chip it off. Okay, now I do the same thing here with the square one. Square one's easier. Okay. Let's see if I can pop this off. There it is. Yeah, good to see you again. It's only been 3.5 years. Looks pretty good. That was easy. Let's see how this goes. Now this one I don't have to grind out because it's not threaded, so it should fit pretty close. I may have to clean around this edge though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean around it and try this way. I have to clean around it a little bit. I may have to go ahead and grind some of this. Feels like there's some, oh yeah, there's some stuff on here. It's gonna have to be cleaned up. Okay. Okay. Pretty much it. I think that's it. It's on there. Now, looks good. That's it. Just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna put some butyl tape on and then just put them on and screw them in. Got to drill the holes for the screws. And I use 2 different size drill bits. I go in with a small one first and then a little bit bigger just to make the screw go in a little easier. And then I leave a little bare wood so the screw will dig into that to really hold tight. But these screw holes are already lined up because this goes back exactly the same way. The round ones, they were all different. The screw holes are all in different angles, so I put them all level. So they all actually ended up with probably all new screw holes, I think. That's how that worked out. But okay, now it's time for the butyl tape. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean these real good. Just some some mineral spirits. A good idea to wear eye protection when you're messing with solvents. Probably should be wearing gloves too. Okay, now what I have to do is take butyl tape and cut it to size. What I do is I use my calipers. Don't tear them up here. Precision instruments, you're not supposed to be slamming them around. And I'm going to measure the widths of these. So I just need don't need to know the actual number here. I just need to adjust it to where it's that same width. Okay, check this. I think these are skinnier. Yeah, so this is going to have to be done separate. Actually, this may work out good. And maybe I'll use the same piece of butyl tape. It's 2 inches wide to do both of these. Usually half of it's kind of wasted because I have to cut it kind of down the middle. But it's not right in the middle, it's over to one side slightly. So, at any rate, here's the butyl tape. And again, this is used around car windshields, front and back windshields. This stuff works really good. It's kind of like clay. It's kind of gooey. It's like modeling clay. You can actually mold it into different shapes. And it lasts damn near forever. And I use it on everything, around all the bolt holes or anything, screw holes, frames, through hole fittings, anything, through deck fittings. You can pretty much use it on everything. And that's what I like to use more than anything else. Double check, make sure this is right. Good. Okay, so now what I got to do is I've measured on here on one of these. What's this one? Yeah. What I did was I had to figure out the circumference. So how I did that was I just rolled it, lined it up with a screw hole, and rolled it all the way around. So that same screw hole came back in line, and I put a line here and a line here, so that's how long my butyl tape has to be. So I'm going to stretch this out to the length I need. A little bit longer. Try to keep it straight. And I use those 2 lines that I have for the length kind of as a guide. And again, check my width one more time, make sure it's right. It's good. So now what I'm going to do is between the length of this, I'm going to use this and put marks in the butyl tape. Just kind of squish it in, put little holes in it so I can see them. So I can line this up and make a cut down the middle, because I have to split this kind of down the middle. And I just do this. I just kind of push this one corner into it. And it leaves a little mark there. And I just do that all the way along. Several spots so I can see where to line this up. Okay. Now I'm going to use this to cut it with. So I'm going to line these lines up. With the holes edge. So I'm using this as a straight edge now to cut it with. Be careful because this is sticky, so gotta go kind of lightly until you get it lined up. Looks good right there, right on the edge. Okay, so there's gonna be, when I tighten those flanges in, they're gonna squish out, so I'll have to cut around them with a razor knife anyway, which I'm gonna use here. Break this tip off so it's sharp. Okay, I'm running out of razor knife here. see. Okay. So I don't go all the way to the end at first because it'll buckle. Let me just cut the edge here. Right along those holes I made. Takes a few times to cut all the way through the paper and everything. You can hear this concrete when you get through it. One more time, I think we'll do it. Sounds good. Okay, I'm going to cut it right here. Now it's best to be a little long than too short. So here's another problem is you push down on this and it kind of sticks on here. I'm hoping I can use this other half for the other frame. I don't know. Maybe too skinny. I'm going to measure across here with these lines here. I cut it across right about here. Give myself a little extra. Okay. Now just pull them apart. Okay, there's one little spot that didn't cut through because the cement wasn't even. Goes. Okay, now what I have to do is make this long straight piece of butyl tape is going to have to go in a circle. So it's just, you got to take it easy and slow. I'm going to do it right here. Okay, you can see how it's I got it flat on the inside here and it's sticking up on the outside, but as I keep going, eventually it just lays itself down. So I just got to keep going around until I go all the way around the whole thing. So that's it. And another thing about some of these projects is I just start getting good at it by the time I'm done with it. So first couple of these was a little stressful until I figured it out. Now you want to get right up to the inside of the flange, but not go beyond it, because then it's going to create problems when you go to put it around the window itself. It'll be too much sticking out, and that'll be a problem. Okay, now I'm getting up here to the very end. So now I just I'm going to peel this back. Well, that was easy. Okay, now I just pull the tape off. Now, what I'm going to do, it's still sticking up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take this tape, this wax paper, and tap it down all the way around till it's flat. That way I use the wax paper so it doesn't stick to my finger. And the seam right here, I'm just gonna pull them together and squish them together, and that should be watertight. And then when I screw these down, it's gonna squish out, so even the seam will get even tighter. So I'm just gonna make it everything lay flat. Make sure it's stuck on there. And again, it's best if you don't handle this with your fingers, because any dirt and oil on your hands will make it not stick as good. But I can guarantee you, even if you get it dirty a little bit and oil on it, it's still going to stick pretty damn good. So this stuff sticks to anything. And that's what it looks like when it's done. All squished flat. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I don't put the seam where the screw holes are. Kind of like that overlapped. Okay, just peel the tape off around. And just like before, just use the tape to, it's all kind of stuck up on the edges here. And so I'm gonna just push it back down how I did the other. Okay, now I just gotta put them on and screw them down.